Hi, and welcome back to the Traffic Syndicate interview series. I'm Mike Filsaime, and on behalf of Jesse Dobeck and Groove, we are pleased to bring you today Mark Ling. Mark is one of these guys that started very early in his career in affiliate marketing. Wasn't really sure what he was going to do with his life. His parents wanted the traditional education for him. They sent him to university. He lives in New Zealand. He said, I'll figure it out.
Don't worry, I'll be a millionaire. It'll all work out.
While he was in school, he looked over at the laptop of one of his friends. He asked, what's going on? The kid said, oh, if I get somebody to sign up for a dating site, I get $40. Mark tried it, set up about 5 different profiles, and started making money.
As soon as I'd made my third sale, I knew this is going to work.
It set off a chain reaction for him. He's going to bring you through a journey of how he built a business making $10,000 a week and then went to sell it, and how he lost it in a deal with a bad contract. Rebounded from there and became the top seller on ClickBank in the early days. We're talking 1999 and 2000. At one point, he had 5 products in the top 50. Mark Ling is a master at creating products in different niches, from dog training to dating to daycare advice, you name it. He has his own courses. He's mastered ClickBank. He's mastered all forms of traffic, from SEO to YouTube. We're going to get started right now and learn all of these things from Mark Ling. So let's jump on in. All right, Mark, thanks for joining us today. I appreciate it. I like to jump right in with the interview. So, I've been talking to a lot of people in the Traffic Syndicate interview series, and we've had musicians, people that played sports, people that, had a completely different career. I like to start basically, you went to school, you studied, you said, when I grow up, I'm going to be. So what were you thinking at that point going through high school and graduating high school? What was your original intention to grow up and be?
I honestly didn't know what I was going to be exactly. I mean, I had dreams of maybe being a cricket player or something like that. I mean, we've all got different dreams that are, some people it's realistic and some people it's not. For me, that kind of thing might not have been so realistic, but, I'm a dreamer. And I remember when I got my student loan the moment I started university, so that I could move out of home. I remember my dad saying to me, why are you getting a student loan? Why don't you just stay at home? And I said, oh, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to pay it back when when I've got a business or something going or something like that. And he's like, yeah, but what if that doesn't happen? And I just said, don't worry, I'll be a millionaire. It'll all work out. I remember saying that, and I remember saying that like a few times, but that was because going back 2 years earlier, I'd done this mind power course, and during it, I'd done all these affirmations and stuff like that, and I'd reprogrammed my brain already. I was already arriving at university with a pretty good mindset at that point, because I'd reprogrammed my own belief systems as it was, not just around money, but around life. And I think when one of my friends discovered affiliate marketing and I had a go at it, I was already going in thinking I'm going to make $1 million or something like that out of this thing. And the moment I made my third sale, I knew right from then on that this is going to go well. So, I started, I don't know if this answers your question correctly, but I went in, I had the mindset training first. Some people go in and they start the thing and they realize they don't have the right mindset for marketing, and then they have to train that. And then I already had that, I think. And then I actually had quite a fast start.
Interesting, your confidence, Mark. You said, I'm going to be a millionaire, but you didn't just say that to appease your dad. That's something inherently you believed?
Yeah, I think I had completely brainwashed myself. I thought that the law of attraction or whatever was 100% real in the way that it is taught. At that moment, I thought that. I'm not saying I don't believe in the law of attraction. I do, but I think that it works for different reasons than what most people think. I don't know if it's the universe gives you stuff. I just think that you can reprogram your belief system so that you think along the way that a successful person thinks, and then as a result you end up having success because you actually go in and you implement. Like, I was an action taker. I was someone that if I got started at something, I knew I had to do it for 300 days in a row before I'm going to be, half decent at it. I wouldn't just try something and then stop 2 weeks later. Like, even with my squash training now, like as a I'm 44, I still play squash and I still train and get better all the time. I'm still moving up the grading list even now, much higher than when I was a junior. And it's because I developed a mindset around taking action, not just brainwashing myself that I'm going to be a millionaire. I think that brainwashing worked, but part of it was because I'd brainwashed myself into being an action taker. So if I've got a goal, then I usually know, am I willing to sink 300 days in a row into it? If the answer is yes, then I know I'm going to, ups and downs won't matter. I will get there, you know?
Yeah, so less metaphysical universe, law of attraction, just
Well,
the
then it
obvious.
was a
And
little
yeah.
bit metaphysical, but
Mm,
it
mm,
became, when I really analyzed it, I think that's probably actually the fact that I just kept putting a minimum of an hour a day into anything that
and
mattered to me.
focusing. Yeah. Yeah, if you tend to make an arrow and point at a target, you're going to get close to that target. So what you focus on, you tend to get. And so they tell
And
you to do.
resilience.
Yeah.
I think doing that brainwashing, I call it brainwashing now. I should call it mind power because that's what it was. But I train myself to be resilient. Like, I get knocked down, I bounce back twice as strong, or there's a silver lining in every damn bad thing that ever happens to me. So every time something bad happens, I'm like, what's the silver lining? When's that coming?
Yeah, I'm going to ask you a question that this brings up that I've asked a couple of people on this interview series. And do you think that there's people that have the entrepreneurial gene? So basically, there are some people that'll say, "Hey, I'm going to go work for the post office or become a police officer or a teacher. I'll work for the government. I'm going to get a job. I don't like risk, and I'm going to get my pension." And the entrepreneur is like, "Oh, I want that dream. I'm going to borrow money. I'm going to take the risk. I'll lose it. I'll gain
That,
it." Do you think that's
that would have been me at 15.
yeah?
I mean, one of my affirmations was I'm supremely self confident and I love taking risks because I was not a risk taker. I was not confident. I had a monotone voice. I barely would talk to people, introvert, completely reprogrammed myself to be the
I
person
think
I
it's a
wanted to
great
be.
point.
I'm not perfectly. I've got a few quirks, but you embrace those, right? Like, if you've got a few quirks, you got to love yourself as you are. That's great. But that all came, I mean, growing up, my mum had schizophrenia. Schizophrenia. We had writing all over the walls of the house. It's cold, it's damp, it's just me and mum, there's no backyard. And that's my introduction to social skills until I moved in with dad when I was 13. And then it was me and dad until he got married when I was about 17, 16, 17. So I really I can't emphasize the fact that where you are today does not necessarily have to dictate where you are in a year. You can totally change anything. Anything is learnable. People think that you're born with that. Maybe that's true, but there's a lot of things that put 300 days on it of training at that thing. You might find that actually no, I wasn't born with it after all. I just didn't learn it. You go and learn it, things can be totally different.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's an entrepreneurial gene. I think there's an entrepreneurial mindset, and I think you proved that there that you weren't a risk taker and you programmed yourself. And my wife Michelle and I were just recently watching this guy on YouTube.
Hmm.
Oh my goodness, the transformation that happened. It's been 3 years now, but in just like 1 year, he was fat, overweight, big red blotches. I mean, like disgustingly fat. Like this guy looked like he had another 2 years left on this world. He had long hair.
Wow.
It was greasy, and he was in his kitchen. He could barely talk, saying, "Hey, I'm going to go try this diet." And then he started vlogging his life for a year. And then by the time you're watching in 90 days, you have to say to yourself, "Oh my god," because he's doing like a cut of like 3 years. After
Mm.
90 days, the guy looked good. After 6 months, he looked great. After about a year, he was in the gym, like taking a rope and then climbing without his feet up to the top and then jumping down. And now 3 years later, his head is shaved. He's in shape.
Wow.
His skin is clear. He's a fitness guru now. And
Wow.
like this isn't like one of those fake things. You see the journey of this obese guy. And so that's the same thing whether it's mindset for health and wellness or mindset for getting in shape. And like I said, my wife and I were actually tearing up watching this because like the motivation of being able to say, if that guy at the beginning of that video can turn into that guy in just 18 months, it's been 3 years because he continued, but in
Mm.
18 months, it's like you the formula is out there. The mindset is the important part. And I think
It,
I think that's what it takes to be an entrepreneur.
yeah, it's not just about understanding; it's about embodying. And I my analogy for that is, let's say you're right-handed and you already know how to say, I don't know, let's say you know how to play tennis with your right hand. So you know how to play tennis, right?
Hmm.
And then I tell you, right, I'm giving you a game, but you're playing left-handed. It's like you know what to do, but you can't do it as well because you haven't embodied left-handed tennis yet. You haven't, but your brain knows how to play because you can do it right-handed. Doesn't matter. You're still not anywhere near as good. And the same thing goes with marketing. Some people, they understand so much because they watch so much training videos, but they're not implementing, so they haven't embodied. So they're kind of like a tennis player playing with their left hand. They actually need time to practice, time to use, time to implement. So sometimes that gain that you want to have might actually take 6 months and not 1 month, even though you understood it fully and you tried to implement it fully. You just don't have the same reactions to change and other things that happen that you have from having a bit more experience. But you give a even me, if I was playing left-handed at squash, I bet I'd be fine within 6 months. Maybe not the same as my right hand, but I'd be pretty hard to play because I've still got my feet. I can run around, and I think that's the same with marketing. I think that there's too many people that think that they get it from watching. But come on, if you watched Roger Federer play tennis and you understood what he should have done, but he didn't do and stuff like that, do you think you're going to be even half as good as him if you jump on a tennis court? It's going to
Yeah.
take time.
Yeah.
And I think that's something people sell themselves a bit short, not putting enough daily time in and being willing to fall off the bike like a kid will, so to speak, while they're learning to ride a bike. Like, mistakes are part of it. Just embrace it.
Yeah, I love it. Like you just said, the knowledge is one thing, the embodiment is another. And I love the metaphors that you went on there. I want to bring us back to how you got into this industry. You were talking about telling your dad, I'll be a millionaire. I'll figure it out. How did you? Was it an email, a book? Did you attend it? Did somebody come to New Zealand and speak on a stage? What was it that if you can remember the day that you saw something that
I tried a few things. I tried like a horse race betting thing, and it didn't work out. I tried a mail stuffing thing that didn't work out. I knew that all it takes is one thing to work out, though. I'd bought some business books and started reading them. And
was the mail
then,
stuffing thing? Was that the one where some like a chain letter, somebody mailed something to
sort of
you and
like
you
that,
you
not
would go get
but it
20
was
of
a
them
bit of a
printed?
twist. It wasn't quite like that. There was a
Mm.
bit of value in the middle with like a free
Okay.
report or something, but it wasn't quite.
I did a chain letter
Yeah,
before the internet, yeah.
my friend Charlie, who I met through university and through squash and other things, because we're in the university squash team as well. He, I was working at Pizza Hut part time while I was at university, right? And he had just put up a 5-page website, just trying to figure out how to put a website up. He decided to make it about a celebrity, so he made it like something like the Reese Witherspoon site or something, and it had like her biography, her filmography, maybe 40 pictures he'd swiped from the internet and shoved it up there. And he put a banner up there at the top that said, want a girlfriend like Reese Witherspoon, click here. And he did the same for like Melissa Joan Hart and a couple of other celebrities. And he was getting paid like $150 a month or something, US dollars, which is like 300 New Zealand dollars at that time, which
And what
was
year is
getting
this?
close to what I was earning from my part time job after tax from Pizza Hut. And I'm thinking, what the hell? And you just, how long did it take you? Oh, it took me about a few hours, and then I haven't had time to get back to it yet. And I was like, far out. Why don't you have 100 celebrities up there and stuff? He's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I guess so. I've got stuff to do, and this is pretty good. And I just asked if it's all right if I could have a go, and he said, yeah, that's fine. And yeah, as soon as I'd made my third sale, I knew this is going to work, this affiliate marketing thing, and started really getting into researching a lot more about affiliate marketing and scaling it, and went from there.
What year was this?
1999.
1999. All right,
Yeah,
so you were 3 years before me. That's 25 years ago. Um,
long
and
time ago. Yeah,
Mark, my first course was butterfly marketing, and we always talk about those tiny things that have significant impacts in our life. And we were talking prior about going back in time and how scared we are to just change one thing because what that could mean for your family and where you are today. But if you didn't have that roommate uh, playing around with that little website,
yeah. Who knows? I'm very fortunate. I do think luck plays a big role as well. I mean, I could have been born, I don't know, in Africa and been made to work in the rice fields and never even have discovered any opportunities. Like, you got to have, you got to say, be thankful for the opportunities you've had and the problems that, if I have problems that aren't life threatening, I'm thankful that those are my problems, and yes, I did have to have luck that came along. However, I also had other people had heard the same story from Charlie and did not do the same thing. That's not everyone ran with it. Not everyone did, and I helped Charlie as well, helped inspire him because I got way ahead of him, and then that made him think, "Oh crap, I could be doing more." You don't even realize it till you see someone else doing more, and we fed off each other anyway. I think that was good.
Yeah, they say luck is when opportunity meets preparedness. There's been lots of talk about luck, and people, is it true? But I mean, there is. You go to war, people are launching grenades. One hits that guy, one doesn't hit you. That literally is just luck. Like there's nothing that you can do to prepare for not getting hit by a grenade when somebody's launching them 100 yards. The world is that way for sure. And
Mm.
at the same time, um, they say opportunity comes around once in a lifetime. I think opportunities there three, four, five
Come
times a
actually
day.
quite a bit. You got to pick which ones, don't you?
That's the thing is, yeah. But if you keep your ear to the ground and see what identifies with you, you can seize those opportunities. So you said after you made your third sale, do you remember? I always like to talk about these things. Do you remember what it was like just coming back from class or whatever it was, and then looking in your inbox and seeing, holy cow, I just made a sale. What was going through your mind? You said it kind of clicked at the third
I remember
one.
the first time I was like, I wonder if this is a glitch. This doesn't look right. There's a one in there. Um, but then when I saw a second one, I'm like, whoa. And then when I saw the third one, yeah, then I knew this is no accident. I mean, therefore, if there are three random people somewhere in the world that are buying something, there must be a lot. There must
Mhm.
be millions of these people. Because I've probably, I worked out there's how many 100 million people in America, how many billions of people are there in the world, how many people have visited my website? Like I worked that out in my head. I'm like, whoa, like, and this is just one product. There are billions of products out there as well that I could affiliate to or have as my own product or whatever. It just everything just went spinning, and I just worked out. I just basically saw the matrix from there. Really,
So yeah,
fail
I
in.
want to really expand on that. Just quick question first. 25 years ago, what was the affiliate network? Was it like Affiliate Junction, or that wasn't even around yet?
It wasn't a network. There's just the first one was a dating website. I think it was called something like the One and Only Dating Company or something like that.
Well, the
You know,
dating people always had referral programs. Yeah, so it makes
yeah,
sense
it
to
was.
put a
You
Reese
got like
Witherspoon page
$40
up.
if
Yeah.
someone set up a free account, but they had to use a credit card to
Okay.
set up a free account. So you got
Yeah.
something like a $40 CPA, so to speak. Like, so you weren't getting the monthly. We did work out later because they offered 50% on the monthly that you actually did make more if you did the monthly, but it took a long time to see that. So I was happy enough with what I'd
Yeah. Got it.
done.
Yeah, no, but that's great. And for those listening that don't know, CPA means cost per action. Mark was getting paid for every action, and they define the action as somebody filling out a profile and adding their credit card, and then they would
For a
just
free
send Mark,
account, for a 3 months
for a free
trial.
account. Yeah,
Yeah.
um, that goes through your head. You've got three sales, and you've only put it up maybe for, let's say, a couple of Reese Witherspoons or whatever it was. At this point, your brain and gears start turning, and I want to know, like, how does Mark Ling think to
Well,
make?
I went and looked up keyword research tools then and found what are people searching for. I started off with getting to 100 celebrities, of course,
Mhm.
but then after
Yeah.
that, things changed. I started looking, going, people are searching for other stuff a lot more, like how to
Mhm.
speak French, how to speak Japanese, how to tie a tie, how to train a dog, stop dog digging, stop dog chewing, um, how to get a boyfriend, how to get a girlfriend, how to, it just went on and on forever. Daycare, how do I run my daycare business? And because I ended up having this daycare management software at one point. Like there's all sorts of kitschy niches out there. How to write a wedding speech. I mean, it was crazy once I really looked into it and looked at how many markets were underserved at that point in time.
Which is the one that took off for you early? Like, if the 80-20 rule, 80% of your sales were coming from the 20% of the
Oh,
of the.
early the celebrity site, but then
Mhm.
I went through a really bad little patch because I tried to sell it because someone offered me like $1 million for it, and I was making 10,000 a week or something. I thought,
Wow.
but I hadn't paid off my student loan yet. I'd hired a bunch of staff, so that money was going in and out as well. I was making profit, but I was making maybe 6,000 a week profit, but it only hockey sticked up to that. And then they gave me this 100 and something page contract, and I ended up. Well, their lawyer said that I didn't have a lawyer. I should have, but I thought, why do I need a lawyer? I trust these guys. And their lawyer said that a certain page of the contract meant one thing, and I thought it meant another. So they basically said the moment I put up a website afterwards, they said, nope, that you've breached the non-competition clause, blah, 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 even though I'm not promoting the same products, not competing on the same it was completely different, but they saw that as competition and they said, right, we're not paying you. And
you already turned the keys over.
I spent months, legal fees, everything, trying to fight it. The lawyers even said they'll do it pro bono on a commission basis because they thought that I would win. But they said, it'll take about 1.5 more years. And I worked out it was still going to cost, like, even pro bono. I was going to basically I would have broken even at best. And if I lost, I would have been down in the hole. I don't know. Even though I ended up just deciding to start again. I was 120,000 in debt at that point because I had spent so much on the legal fees, and I was in debt 80K to them, plus another 40K I hadn't paid my student loan off yet. So that was 40,000. So 120,000. So then I got a job, and I had 6 months in a call center. And
you had to go get a job. And when you
I didn't have to. I thought I was listening to what my family was telling me to do and other people were telling me to do.
Because you're in debt. Yeah.
And it's stressful. The whole thing was so stressful dealing with people that are at that time just thinking about trying to get a quick buck rather than how to, like being genuine people at that time. I'm not saying I didn't get along a bit better with those people later because I'm pretty good at being able to put things behind me. So I don't want to say that I have grudges now. I just say at the time, this is what I was going through. Okay. People change, I think they have regrets about what happened then. So I don't want to make that sound like that's all bad because that made me who I am. Because then when I decided, no, I'm going to start up and get back into online marketing again, I was a little bit gun shy on only doing one niche, one website in case something went wrong with one. So I had about 5 or 6 different ideas and I made websites with all of them. I partnered up with friends of mine on some of them. I learned guitar site, I learned piano site, I had language learning, I had wholesale sourcing and supplying website with another friend, I had wedding speeches. Some of them I was partnered with other people, some of it was just me. Dating relationships website with some books and stuff there. I thought, in the daycare management site that I said, and a few other sites, a sports site that was to do with sports injuries. And I thought, surely one of these is going to come off, maybe 2 or 3 if I'm lucky.
And when you say come off, you mean pop off?
Every single one of them made me at least 1,000 a week minimum. All of them took
They all
off.
popped.
Not the whole lot. You'd think. I thought, throw a bunch of darts at the dartboard, 1 or 2 will work, and I'm away. I didn't expect 10 or 20 darts I threw to all be like, bang, they all just worked.
So I have a question then. The original strategy, grab all these darts, throw, hopefully there's one, find out, and then if that was the case, you would just work on that business. But you throw 7 darts, they all stick. Does your mind, I'm curious because I know I would have a dilemma in my mind. Do I work on these 7 businesses? Or it seems every time I throw a dart, it works. And did you go wide and just start more businesses? And I'm curious.
I did. I went wide. I did keep going. Not more businesses as in companies, but
more niches.
I didn't have back ends. I didn't have an upsell for any product. They would just buy
what
the
year
product.
Is this now?
Late year 2000, maybe.
Okay,
and then
so
going into
we're
2001,
not even around.
2002.
ClickBank is not even around yet.
No, I was using ClickBank.
Oh, it was just starting around that time.
They started 1999, 98.
Okay.
I started with them in 2000. The year 2000.
Oh, that's right. I got in 2002. They were already around for about 5 years. That's right. Yeah. So it was ClickBank.
Yeah. So I was both an affiliate and I was a product owner. I did half and half. Mm-hmm. Actually, I probably did more affiliate marketing. But yeah, I did a lot of my own product stuff too at that point in time.
On ClickBank. So you said to yourself, hey, I could start a niche and sell other people's products, or it's not rocket science to finding a niche and creating a product and serving it and driving my own traffic and then getting affiliates to
Y-
promote for me.
Yeah, because I'd look at the products and think that's not good enough. Some of these products at that time,
Yeah.
I could do a lot better. Like, because I kept on thinking, what does that consumer really, really want? What's the ultimate product? Like in dog training. I mean, there was some dog training interview product where they'd interviewed a dog trainer and made a 200-page book out of an interview. And I was thinking, no, we should be filming videos with dog trainers. We should be having photos step by step of everything in this little book and stuff. And we ended up becoming the number one product on ClickBank. That was for 2 years straight, that product.
The number one product on all of ClickBank?
Yes, that was in the early
Uh,
2000s. Yeah, like
Yeah,
2001,
on
2002
dog
kind of
training.
thing. Yeah, and it was doing over $1 million a year in profit, something around that anyway, give or take. Because ClickBank wasn't as big as it is now, because now $1 million a year is probably dime a dozen on ClickBank, but
Mhm.
then it was smaller.
Yeah.
You know, but I had a lot of products in the top 50 at that point as well. And the handy thing about ClickBank for me at that time, not trying to plug ClickBank, I'm just trying to say why I used it, was I'm in New Zealand, so I didn't want to have to learn how to set up a merchant account,
Mhm.
and I didn't want to have to learn how to pay tax if someone ordered in the UK and they had to grab VAT and send that somewhere, or I had to grab tax and pay some people in the European Union or whatever, and whatever state in the USA, there's a different tax for each state, and I didn't want to learn that. I was just like, no, they do all that for me. So that was the second. And the third thing was that they had paid my affiliates for me. So I didn't have to figure out how do I set up an affiliate program. So that's why, as a one man band, just getting started again, or
Mhm.
I thought that just made it easy. That's why I did that, because some people say,
And they
"Why did
find
you do that?"
affiliates for you, and they also, just by being in the marketplace,
Yeah.
people find you with their algorithm of searching for high performance products as well.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I had a lot of reasons at that time. I'm not saying I don't use them now. I do. In fact, I just got my Diamond Award just arrived the other day.
I just got a
For
little
this
glass
year.
box as well. The same one,
Yeah.
the little glass box. Yeah, just
Yeah.
came in.
Yeah. You know all about it. And it's just back then though, that man, that in itself was a bit of luck too, because that made life a whole lot easier
Mhm.
than any other option that was out there. And there were other options, but they would have all been a bit more of a learning curve.
I have another question. I just want to make a little comment because you were doing this, and you've been doing it now for a couple of years, and it's now the year 2000. I remember I bought Armin Morin's big seminar. I think it was like the second or third big seminar from the big seminar that took place in March of 2003. Frank Kern had spoken on there, and Ed Dale, and they were talking about niche marketing and squeeze pages. And Frank was like talking about teach your parrot to talk. And we were all completely different. We were all how to make money, biz op, make money. And now suddenly Frank comes out and talks about there are these things out there where you could put out a survey, see if people fill it out. What's their biggest question? That becomes
Yeah,
the
I used to do
chapters of the
that.
book. What's that? You still do?
I don't know about Frank for certain, although we used to talk before through the dog training niche.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were both in it. We used to talk from that point of view, but I don't know about him individually, but I know that a lot of marketers, the stuff they were teaching, they were using my sites as their examples, and they were teaching what I was doing.
You had to be the underground Mr. X that these guys sort of stumbled on. It was like, oh
For
wow,
some, at least,
yeah,
maybe not all of them, but certainly there was some for sure.
yeah, and I mean that in a good way. I'm not
Yeah,
saying you got ripped off or
no,
anything.
no. I
I'm
mean,
saying like,
we all like to reverse
yeah,
engineer what we think
yeah,
other people are doing, and I learnt from a guy. I bought his book, a guy called Brad Sugars from Australia, who does
mhm.
not teach internet marketing. He was teaching brick and mortar stuff, but I was applying the brick and mortar stuff from that book to online business. So that's how I came up with a lot of those things.
So I want to talk about traffic.
Yeah.
You spoke about that you figured out how to dominate a niche, and that meant okay, you could uh, find a niche that had hungry buyers. You were able to create good marketing copy that could
Mm.
convert, and you were able to create the product and find affiliates. What was your secret sauce for traffic? Was it SEO
Well,
or
to start with, yes, it was SEO,
yeah?
especially the first time around.
Hmm.
So I'm very lucky that I got in at a time when it was super easy. But something is always relatively easy, and it's always easy relatively. It's easy to me. It wasn't easy for maybe some other people.
Well, there was nobody really online. But look, I'm a technical guy. I
But then
mean,
again, you could
yeah.
say that there's not enough stuff on TikTok right now or somewhere else that's growing, or YouTube. I still think that's underutilized, at least at the better end of videos. That it's underutilized. Maybe there's a
Mhm.
lot of stuff at the lower quality end. I mean, there's always opportunities out there. And at that time, yeah, SEO. I didn't actually do um, terribly good SEO, but you didn't have to because it was, like you said, underpopulated. You could just name a
Yeah.
search term and
Well,
I'd
in
look at the top
'99, it's
10 and I'd
pre-Google.
go, those aren't that good. If I provide something that's better than that, surely somehow or other it's going to rank number one. If I put it in my title or my keywords and people stay on my page long enough, surely an algorithm's going to figure that out, that on that's the best page and it'll shove it up there. That was all I was thinking. I
Yeah,
got
especially in
lucky.
'99, 2000. That
Yeah.
was Excite, Lycos, Yahoo,
Yeah. Yeah.
Ask Jeeves. Like Google
Yes.
made their break in 2001 was when real SEO with backrank started coming in.
I fluked my way to the top of Google immediately, though,
Mhm,
when it came, because I had the entire time I'd had one staff member who, for 10 hours a week, was doing link building
mhm.
the whole time,
And that
and
was the
and, and
secret
that,
sauce
that
to
was just
PageRank.
that was not because I thought that was for SEO. I did it because I wanted the links because I thought if someone reads that guy's article and they click that link, they're going to go to my article. I just
Yeah,
wanted the visitors. But then when Google came along, all those links meant that bang, oh, they must be the
you had
authority,
backlinks.
and then got this extra bump. Like business just was like near dunk like that for a little bit because
Yeah.
it was a fluke that turned out to be the next thing to do, link building, and I'd already been doing it at that
Were you
point.
doing any paid traffic?
I did get into that, and that was certainly very helpful. But I not until I think 2002. I
2002 was when Overture came out
oh no,
with
maybe 2001. I definitely used Overture. It's probably
yeah,
2002 might have been when I
and
started
that's when
Google.
Google copied them in 2002.
Was it
Yeah.
Google Paid in 2002? Yeah, when that
Yeah.
came out, things skyrocketed. But I was definitely buying traffic from Overture, which was called Go2 when I
Go
bought.
to yeah.
Yeah, so it was before it was called Overture. I was buying it for sure off there. It was hit and miss, but I eventually got that to the point where I could spend 1,000 and make 2,000, but I couldn't scale too heavily until Google came along
Mhm.
because then that was better quality of traffic for
Well,
buying.
not to get too much into it, the problem with Overture and Go to Overture, they got bought by Yahoo, is their thing was it's a bidding war.
Yeah.
So somebody with a terrible product and terrible conversions and deeper pockets could just outbid you and move you to seventh place. Google came in and said, "No, we're we're looking for quality," and which didn't even make sense to me back then. I was like, "Why don't they just take the higher bidder?" But they
Oh.
realized
You could,
that people are not
but
going to
we used
like
to
the search
game it
engine.
though because we would word the ad in such a way that only the absolute bullseye of the market will click. So you could be paying $2 a click, but you know that a lot of people are not going to click that thing because
Mhm.
of the way you worded it. So you're really, it's like you're paying less than the guy that's paying $1 a click because they're getting some random clickers clicking because
Mhm.
of their intriguing topic line, whereas you made it not intriguing, not at all, just completely bland as anything that only someone that really was just about to buy a product will click on.
Would that method still work today?
No, because today, if your click through rate's not good enough,
Right.
then it's
They penalize you for too many impressions,
Google will know you're not getting $2 times your click through rate is lower than the guy with $1 times a high click through rate.
and you're
But it's
wasting
not
their
even just on
inventory.
that anyway. Like you said, it's relevancy too. Are people staying on your page a long time, or are
Yeah.
they just clicking there and then going back out and clicking someone else's ad? They know that that's bad user experience. If that's the average, then that would also not be good anyway. So it's different nowadays. There's still algorithms though. It's just then, like I was just answering your question or just explaining how. Yes, you're right. It was gameable and it wasn't efficient, but they learned quickly how to make it efficient.
Did you crack any particular traffic method in terms of paid traffic? Because I know you as you're a multifaceted marketer.
Well, I
Uh,
mean, I always had affiliates promoting me. I think that I like having multiple sources of traffic. I mean, always have some SEO, always have some YouTube stuff, always have, well, since that came along, because that wasn't a long way back then, but
Yeah,
always
in 10
have,
years, yeah.
it
Till
used
then.
to be links, but now it's more like social media traffic, because it kind of
Mhm.
replaced the traffic I used to get from links. Um, if you got always and email traffic, so you always got that follow up. You always got people that are coming back again and again because they're reading your emails at least. At least some people keep reading for years. So that's repeat traffic. And those things can take different forms, but they're always there. I do like to have multiple forms of traffic. Um, and I sometimes zero in on one for some time, but that doesn't mean that the other ones don't just carry on ticking away and have a good process going. And then sometimes you revisit them, sometimes you don't. Sometimes there's a new type of traffic you want to put some resources in, and if it's really blowing up, then you put a lot more in. If it's not, then oh well, at least we're got some sort of omnipresence over in that other place as well.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. You're like, today it's this, today it's social media. The thing is, traffic follows eyeballs. That's just a very simple way for people to understand. Is in 30 years ago, if you wanted to advertise to somebody and you wanted to get a fishing pole in their hands, where were their eyeballs? They were looking at fishing magazines that they subscribed to and paid to, and you would put ads in the back and classifieds, and they probably still do. So wherever the eyeballs are, and sometimes they move from
It
Snapchat over to TikTok.
could be over
Um,
to this.
we'll be seeing that soon for sure.
Just saying, there's
Uh,
lots of places where there are eyeballs that are underutilized.
yeah, I got the Vision Pro.
Yeah, yeah, and I've got the 3D camera and everything ready to go to start moving on that side. I'm
Yeah,
not saying
yeah.
that that's going to be the focus and that people listening should be like, right, Mark's doing 3D, I should do 3D too. That's probably a shiny object. It's not my focus, but I look at it, definitely
I'll
give
give
it
you
a
a
real credit.
teaser of something that you'll see in VSLs, something we're experimenting on playing with
Mhm.
even in this launch. Spoiler alert. But if you're talking to a camera, right, and you see me with no goggles on, and you'll quote unquote never see me with goggles on, but you could say something like this. So let's take a look at what our customers had to say, and you move your head over to the right, and now you cut to the goggles, and then you record. Grabbing and pinching and putting a person in actual reality, and you're watching, and now they're watching through your eyes on the
Wow.
headset of a
Yeah.
testimonial, and then you come back and go, wasn't that great, or something like that. You're going to start seeing that type of world, a virtual world, start
Mm.
getting brought into our marketing.
So many applications. I kind of think like dog training. We could re-record all our dog training stuff with the dog trainer, but someone could put the headset on, and it's like they're standing there in the yard with the dog trainer, and they see the dog right there, and they could look at the dog, and they could really take it in. Or what if someone's reviewing some makeup product on that sells on Amazon, and you can actually had the headset on and you could see them putting the makeup on and applying it to somebody's face, and they could see it in 3D. And I'm thinking there's got to be a, a coming demand for that. If more eyeballs are in headsets, then surely there's, I know I've gone off on a tangent. The key though is just be aware of where the traffic is flowing at all
Yeah.
times and try and get in front of some of it.
What are some of your traffic sources today, and what does your current business look like today?
I'm more diverse than most people. I do it wrong compared to most people
Mhm.
because I accept that I'm scatterbrained. I accept that about myself. I actually don't do well just focusing on one thing. I find it hard to stay too focused. So I hire people that can be focused and I can jump from project to project at times and have a bit of fun with that. So my there isn't just one business, but they do follow patterns, so that way it's easier to manage a bunch of different products on different sites if they follow similar strategies.
Mhm.
Um, in terms of traffic, my traffic sources are either I've got affiliates that promote our different products, whatever the niche might be in, and they earn commissions and stuff like that, and they have their whatever traffic sources they use. I have affiliates. I have SEO. Some of my sites rank very well in search engines. Some of them are nowhere to be found, but
Mhm.
certainly some of them, that's a lot of traffic there. I have YouTube videos. Some niches I've got, like I've got 5 YouTube play buttons. You can't quite see them. They're up there. That, I've got some niches where I've got over 100,000 subscribers, and you wouldn't know it because it's not my face on it, because it's faceless, but that's traffic, right? Every day, getting people subscribing, watching, not only earning YouTube ad revenue, but getting on my list, my email lists in different niches. And then there's email, like the follow-up traffic there. I'm getting more and more into niche-related Facebook groups, so we can keep that relationship outside of just email, so that there's other ways to keep the relationship going, because it's more about the follow-up than whether it came through email or somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
And then just trying to think what other traffic sources. That's
Well,
probably the
I
main
know.
ones.
Well, YouTube is one thing that you pioneered early
Facebook
on.
ads, I guess.
Yeah, no, you're doing courses on YouTube. You believe not just in, of course, paid YouTube advertising, but really in growing a YouTube channel and creating using that as content creation to bring in and sell. Can you just talk about like how you use most people look at a YouTube channel, they'll create a YouTube channel to go out and make money on AdSense. You're actually creating a YouTube channel that will go and sell your affiliate products, right?
Yeah, well, yes,
Or
and
your products.
no, it's both. It's a bit of both, yeah, and or affiliate products. But there's a lot of content for sure, and you've got to realize that. Yes, you're right. There is significant revenue being made from the ads too. So I get really good payments from YouTube themselves. So you don't only want to focus, instead of trying to focus on getting a high opt-in rate, say, for instance, you just want to focus really hard on getting people binge watching your videos and watching lots of them. And there are little subtle moments where you might just quickly offer a free gift. They can go opt in, but you don't need to oversell it, because you're better off actually getting, like, I'll just make up a number here. You're better off getting, say, 1% opting in than getting 10% opting in and then not having your video blow up because you haven't really suited the algorithm that well for YouTube, because people are leaving YouTube and they're not staying and watching more videos. It's better off that way. Like, I prefer to just take my slither, because it's still hundreds of opt-ins a day. I'd prefer that than so it's different, I guess. It's not like trying to maximize, because then maximizing may cause your video to get shown less. So it's different strategy. It's all relationship building, all about trying to be intriguing, try to teach information in an entertaining way, and want to get people to not just watch that one video, but sit there and find they've watched 7 in a row, because that's what YouTube wants. They don't want your video to be the last one they watched before they went and did something else.
Yeah. I think it was Mr. Beast. Somebody was talking to him about the algorithm, and he said, stop using the word algorithm. He said, substitute it for audience. It's the same thing. When you say that's what the algorithm wants, it's what the audience wants. And he kept saying, if you serve the audience, then they're going to want to watch. Everything algorithm audience is essentially the same thing. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Stop trying to figure out what the algorithm wants. It's the algorithm is the audience.
I think that's right for his niche. I still don't think that's right for every niche, because what the audience may want would be to get everything and then leave.
Right.
So if the audience wants to get everything and leave and have it all be done in 10 minutes, then that's not what that won't work.
Right, because he's an entertainment.
YouTube actually it's more about what does the binge watcher want, or whatever,
Right.
or what's going to get people to binge watch is more closer than saying what does the audience want. What's going to get people binge watching? What's going to get them addicted to this content? As opposed to, if they sat down, what would they really have wanted out of all of this, out of use of their time? And I'm not saying that I'm wasting people's time. I'm just saying that it's not entirely just what the user wants. You've got to get them. You've got to think in terms of what's going to keep them there a long time and really enjoying a lot of your content.
So I've got 2 more questions for you, Mark. One, I know you've got to get going soon. And that'll tie into what we're talking about. What is this quote unquote internet lifestyle, digital marketing? What is it meant for you in terms of the promised land? Like, what is life like that might not have been like if you were working in a cubicle 9 to 5?
I think that I was not set up personally to be able to handle that. I think that I would have really been depressed and struggled. And that's not to say that that is a bad lifestyle at all. I just think that personally, I'd gone through a difficult upbringing as it was. I know there's people who have had worse. I'm just saying that it was difficult, and I I was prone to depression as it was. So being able to not have to work for someone else and be instead being the boss and not having to work for someone else is, I am very, very fortunate that I've fallen into that lifestyle, and I don't take it for granted in any way. I know things could change it on a dime. That's life, things could happen that are outside of any of our control. If some war happened or something and you could find yourself in a different circumstance, you got to be grateful for sure. It's definitely done a lot for my life. So what does it look like? I'm lucky that I can go and take the family away on nice holidays. I'm lucky that I can, give my mum a nice house to live in and stuff, um, and be able to support family. I'm lucky that I can say this morning, before our call, I had a hit with my squash coach. I'm able to spend an hour and a half on a court with the squash coach, and then tomorrow I've got another hit with them because I have 2 hits a week. And some people might be like, "Oh, that sounds like hard work," and I'm like, I don't want a life of not hard work. Of course, I like you're either living your life or you're using it
It's
or you're
active.
losing it, right? So, but that to me is a luxury that I can do that. So I'm grateful for all of those things. That's sort of what life looks like for me. I have time to coach my son's cricket. I have time to coach squash. I coach the high school A and B squash teams for my son's school. I wouldn't have time to do that if I had a full time job, and that's nothing wrong with full time jobs. I'm just saying that it definitely changes your lifestyle being able to have a successful online business.
Yeah, and I'm here on the East Coast in Florida. You're in New Zealand. It's the end of my day, start of your day. It's a
Yeah.
Wednesday when we're recording this, and I know you're taking the family out to a Taylor Swift concert right after this, right?
Yeah, we're flying to Australia
Yeah.
to
So
Melbourne for that, and that's gonna
on
be
a Wednesday, right? So that's
well, it would be
and you didn't have
Thursday
to
my
ask.
time, but
Oh,
yeah,
Thursday, right? Okay, yeah. And you didn't
but
have
yeah,
to ask anybody. Nobody had to tell you, no, you can't. We're too busy that day. There was a time that I had planned for a vacation and we were going on a cruise. And I told them on Friday, all right, I'll see you guys in 10 days. And they will, or whatever, 8 days. And they look, what are you talking about? And I said, I'm leaving tomorrow on a cruise. And with a straight face, I thought he was kidding. My boss said, we got a mailer going out. They used to do like these mailers and people would come in with a key to see who wins the car. He's like, you're not going anywhere. And I said, I've had this approved for 3 months. He goes, you walk out of that door and don't come back here tomorrow, you don't have a job. So I left,
yeah.
um, went on the cruise, came back, and they told me I was fired. So
Wow.
that's the car business in the U.S. Or in Long Island. It certainly was 20 years ago. But yeah, I think the blessings we have are that they're blessings. We don't take them for granted. I came
No,
from a previous career working 65, 70 hours a week, 28 days a month, and so I didn't I didn't get started, Mark, until I was 37. So for me, uh, I
that's still
I
young though,
always
because
yeah.
that the average person that runs a business that makes over $1 million and takes off, the average person's aged between 40 and 50 when they start. So anyone that starts before then is actually ahead of the average anyway.
Yeah. So last question I'll have
Yeah,
for you is so people are watching this video. They made it to the end because they're hearing our voice right now. They have a choice. They can hit that X button or underneath this video, besides a couple of bonuses and things like that, will be an opportunity to get on a web class on traffic. We're actually going to be breaking down the 12 fundamental laws of a successful or no fail ad campaign.
yeah,
And so we're gonna break that down. We can only go into so much, right? It'll be about 5 minutes per law of a grand overview. Each one of those could be an hour training in and of itself, but we're going to break down the structure and try to give some people some aha moments. Um, if we can equate that to your friend in the dorm, that you look there, you go in one
wow.
direction, or you don't. What would you say to somebody that's thinking of, I'm not going to register for this webinar?
I spent my first 3.5 years online buying nobody's courses, thinking that all of these things are scams and nothing works and what have you. And I remember I more than doubled my income in my first 90 days when I started when I bought this. I know this is free what you've got, but I'm saying I bought someone's course on traffic and I learnt stuff that I didn't know, and I was kicking myself, going, "Holy crap! People have figured out stuff that I was figuring out through so much trial and error." And that was just the first 90 days. So things really skyrocketed. And then I went to the internet summit that I met you at around 2004, it might have been, or something. And that was when I started meeting people outside of my own bubble. And outside of my own affiliates and stuff like that. And that's when I realized, holy crap, there's a whole lot of people out there that have figured stuff out that I may never have discovered if I hadn't have learnt from them. So I would say absolutely, like, if you should totally get on and listen to what someone that succeeded has done and is teaching you, so that you can shortcut that time. So jump on, listen, and take notes, and then implement. Like, be an action taker that implements what they just learnt, because that's how you embody it.
Great. Thank you very much, Mark. You have the choice. Again, you can hit that X button, or why not scroll down the page, get some free bonuses, enter your first name, last name, and email address, and you'll see a date and time when we're going to be doing this webinar. And if you miss it, you'll be able to see the replay. So make sure to do that now before you leave. And Mark, thank you very much. We appreciate you doing this interview series with us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.